Welcome to the Agoura Hills Planning Commission meeting. Please silence, and I'm going to do this too, please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. If you wish to speak or submit a written comment, please complete a comment card for each item and submit to the secretary prior to the public comment portion of the item. And let me defer to Commissioner Sharon. Oh, no, hold on. Pledge, yes. Commissioner Sharon, can I defer to you for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, please stand, everyone.
I will now defer to the secretary for the roll call.
Good evening, Commissioner Reinhardt, Commissioner Sharon,
Here.
Vice Chair Roth,
Here.
Chair Anderson.
Here.
Chair Anderson, you have a quorum with Commissioner Reinhardt absent.
Terrific. Commissioner Reinhardt has submitted a request for an excused absence. Do I have a motion to approve her request?
A motion to approve Commissioner Reinhardt's request for tonight's excused absence.
Commissioner Sharon, seconds.
I'll defer to the secretary for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Sharon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Roth,
Aye.
Chair Anderson.
Aye.
Chair Anderson, you have approval 3-0.
Fantastic. We will now move on to approval of the agenda. Will one of my fellow commissioners move to approve the agenda?
Commissioner Sharon moves to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Vice Chair Roth, seconds.
I'll defer to the secretary for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Sharon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Roth,
Aye.
Chair Anderson.
Aye.
Chair Anderson, you have approval 3-0.
Terrific. Thank you. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items not listed on the agenda that are under the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. If you have something to distribute to the Planning Commission, please do not approach the dais. Hand your item to the secretary, and she will distribute it to us on your behalf. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons addressing the Planning Commission shall not engage in disorderly conduct that disrupts or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. I will now defer to the secretary.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. No written public comments have been received. However, we have received 2 requests to speak. Our first speaker is Dave Foltz.
May I ask if this is if Mr. Foltz wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda, including items that are not on the consent calendar?
He has marked that he wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Dave Folds, Cronies Sports Grill co-owner. At your last meeting, this Planning Commission voted to deny a conditional use permit for an ABC Type 47 license. And just for the record, I'd like to state 4 points. Okay. Using thorough research, the city's professional staff completed a detailed report and submitted it to this Planning Commission. The report concluded that Cronies met all the standards for the conditional use permit and recommended approval of the conditional use permit. Number 2, there is no legal basis for this city to regulate the type of alcohol we are selling. Only the Alcohol Beverage Control, the ABC, of the state of California can regulate that. The third thing is, with our existing CUP, Cronies has already been operating and selling alcohol in Agoura Hills for the past 10 years. And in that time, law enforcement has never had an issue with Cronies being a nuisance or having any noise complaints in the community. And I stated this to this committee before, and I'll say it again. Regarding the hours of operation, I would gladly adjust the serving hours to satisfy your concerns. I would open later and I would close earlier. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
And my daughter's in town for a few hours. Is there any reason for us to stay later after my wife speaks? Would it benefit us at all?
We can't answer that question. I can tell you that I don't anticipate a long meeting.
You don't anticipate?
I do not anticipate a long meeting.
Our next speaker is Christine Foltz.
Hi. I just want to make a couple statements from last meeting. I know you're on the committee. I appreciate your service. And I know you're appointed and not paid very much. But I'm sure it is a privilege to be on this committee. And you've made a commitment to do the right thing and be fair. So I just wanted to set the record straight for some things that I felt were not fair in the last meeting. So it's on the record. And that, or they were incorrect. Starting with Mr. Roth, you stated that you don't want your kids exposed to tobacco or alcohol. Just for the record, we do not allow tobacco. So I want that to be on the record. And you don't want your kids to be exposed to alcohol, so I just wanted to say that I would assume that, to be fair, you don't take them to the Cheesecake Factory, to BJ's, to the Latigo Kid, to Blue Agave, into Vaughn's, or walk past a smoke shop that is in the same center. And lastly, being on this committee, I think because you represent the city, you would want the businesses in the city to succeed. One of the comments you publicly said was that if we were giving another choice of alcohol, which basically would make us more competitive, that it would increase our business, which ultimately would increase our traffic. To me, it means that you're saying you don't want our business to increase, so you don't want our traffic to increase. And as a business that's been here for 10 years, and I can say for the record, we haven't made one dime in our pocket because we're not making it, it's offensive to me that you don't want our business to increase as a person who represents the city. Ms. Sharon, your comments, which I consider to be unfair and biased, when the Blue Agave came and asked for their conditional use permit, your public comments were that you have fond memories of them, of blowing off steam and losing brain cells, and your memories are so fond that it's a slam dunk for them. And when Cronies asked for conditional use permit, you said it is unsafe for our community. In my opinion, for the record, that's unfair. Also, in regards to the noise, you said in your opinion that a parking lot, an alleyway, and a wash is not enough buffer for the noise from Cronies. I'm assuming that you've never walked back there because that, in my opinion, is unfair and untrue. I did walk back there. I spoke to the people at Kumon who are adjacent to us, and their words said this is a very quiet study space. And they are before the parking lot, before the alleyway, and before the wash. I did walk up to the neighborhood up there. I spoke to 3 people, and in 10 years, I said, have you ever heard anything from Cronies? And they said no. So in my humble opinion, let the record show that based on my research, that a parking lot, an alleyway, and a wash are more that we've been treated unfairly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the consent calendar? Okay. Are there any ex parte communications to disclose? I do have an ex parte communication to disclose. On Tuesday evening, I visited Cronies and met with Mr. and Mrs. Foltz, talked to them for about half an hour. I let them know that the decision of the commission had been was final, that the public record was closed, and that tonight would be the commission's opportunity to then formally vote on the resolution. And as a courtesy, wanted to listen to them and very much appreciated them taking the time to talk to me about their concerns. I will now call for a motion and a second to adopt the consent calendar. Travis, is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Vice Chair, Roth moves to adopt the, sorry, is it to adopt the consent calendar?
Yes.
To approve the consent calendar? Thank you.
Either works, yep.
Commissioner Sharon seconds.
I will defer to the secretary for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Sharon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Roth,
Aye.
Chair Anderson.
Aye.
Chair Anderson, you have approval 3-0.
Terrific, thank you. Okay. That was all we had on our agenda this evening. Are there any comments from staff? Okay. Any comments from the planning commissioners? Okay. The next regular planning commission meeting is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on May 2nd in the council chambers of the Civic Center located right here at 3001 Ladyface Court, Agoura Hills. The meeting is now adjourned.